Burkina Faso.
Hey.
Yeah, no man ever looking to. Let me just chill out for this
Dean
one.
wanted this for a long time.
Yeah,
So,
Dean was waiting for you.
a country in Africa
Yep.
run by a leader who, I don't know if I've read this right, he took power.
It was a coup.
It was a coup, yeah. So he took power. Ibrahim
Traoré.
Captain. Yeah, sorry. Get the titles right. What, Dean, what do you know about him?
He is a revolutionary. He's young. He's in his 30s. He is very well educated. He has had 18 attempts on his life.
Yep.
He has vowed to the people of Burkina Faso to take back the country and to bring the country into the forefront of the world.
Right.
In doing so, he has brought education back from nursery up to university for free. He has made healthcare free.
He's done a lot.
He has
Got back the gold.
brought back the refineries of mining gold back to Burkina Faso, and also manufacturing. So my brain should be with this, but I think manufacturing, I can't remember what it is, but manufacturing a certain type of food, I can't remember the food, but manufacturing it locally rather than importing it. So then therefore the dependency isn't on external countries, it's on himself. He's forced the French previous dictators to leave. He's also ensured that in the future, he can sit at the top table when it comes to negotiations.
Right. So,
And he has been put on a low level but a wanted list from Western countries, including the US, France, and many European countries.
And even some African countries, the ECOWAS countries, it's actually...
that are taking sides to say they can't stand with him, so they're going to actively stand against him. However, because obviously the world and obviously many African nations are viewing what he has done and what he is doing, they're saying, actually, we need to observe what's happening in Burkina Faso because there are issues happening in Democratic Republic of Congo, and also Chad and a few other...
Sudan, all over the place.
Right.
All over the place.
There's actually 3 countries that have made this sort of movement, the Alliance of the Sahel States, and that's Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, and they're working together. And you know what? It is so... first of all, I just like the fact that they've kicked out anything to do with France.
Yep.
They don't speak French no more. For a start,
They
don't
do,
speak.
but
They've
changed the national
changed the national language.
Good.
Yeah.
French, gone. All the contracts with
also-
France, gone.
Also changed the uniform that they wear and what they're making the school children wear.
Yep. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It is. And what was even more amazing...
Sorry. Also, he's paid back the deficit. The country was in debt. He's cleared the deficit, and the GDP is now in a positive state.
He, on Monday, met with Vladimir Putin.
So they have a strong alliance with Russia.
Monday seemed to be a busy day around the world, didn't it?
A strong relationship with Russia. Did anyone see how they greeted this man?
No.
Like proper, like almost the level of respect that they, whether it was acted or whether they just genuinely shown him, was above Donald Trump. Like proper formal sit down, his man them on this side, his man them on this side. Translators, obviously. He gave his address where he was saying, look, my view is I want African nations to stop relying on the West. He always says the West. Apart from when he refers directly to France, he says the West. The West, technically, is America. Now, I don't know what Donald Trump's steer on him is, but you're right. He's had X amount of attempts on his life. His right-hand man was approached to say, kill this man and you're nice for life.
His bodyguard was given 11 million. 11 million US dollars.
But this guy...
And the bodyguard said, okay, yeah, cool. I'll take the money to set him up, but actually double-cross the person that approached him and then set them up.
Right, okay. He wants the best for Africa.
That's loyalty, boy.
He wants the best for Africa as a whole. I can't understand why and maybe someone can help me. Why some African nations are not buying into his vision? Now, I'm not saying he's Colonel Gaddafi, where he was trying to do the dinar and the one currency traded in gold. That was a madness as well, but that's why he got duppied. But he's doing something equal to that. I think they've got an agreement with some states, Russia included, and I think, actually, I'm not going to say it because I might be wrong, but Russia's there in regards to how they trade and how their money is valued. And obviously people around the world don't like it. But again, an African nation don't like it. Why?
Right. So you have Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is where, I don't know if you've ever heard of Thomas Sankara, I think.
Sankara, yeah.
So,
which was before him, yeah?
Yes. So the guy who was the guy that assassinated Blaze.
Is it right to say in the 80s, Wiley?
Yes, I forget his name. I forget the person who organized, who did the coup that got rid of Thomas Sankara. He's currently in Ivory Coast. I believe he's in exile there. So that's why you got places like Ivory Coast. Yeah. You know what it is? It's all to do with money. If I'm funding you and I can see that fund drip can be troubled, I'm always going to be against it. And that's what it is. The West fund a lot of countries in Africa, in certain places where they will try and fuel what is going on. You've got things like that. You was asking earlier about the American view on it. They had an American general, I forget his name, Michael Langley, I think his name.
The black guy.
Went to Ivory Coast, I believe it is, and I think he was making statements along the lines of that the Burkina Faso captain, very dangerous, the coup was illegal, all sorts of stuff. And we don't, as far as I'm concerned, and I believe this to be the case, I believe all these attempts on his life, they've been fueled by people from outside of Africa.
Yeah.
Because they want to maintain that power dynamic and power vacuum and keep things as it is. France manufacture nothing. It comes all from the resources.
And what's
such
crazy,
as uranium.
Exactly, thank you, Wiley. So what it was, France was buying uranium from Burkina Faso and please, the numbers are off. Something like $2 for a kilo of uranium. But they were selling it at $500 per kilo of uranium. So Burkina Faso were like, well, one second, if you're doing that, firstly, we're going to take you out of our country and we're going to manufacture it ourselves. So now they are manufacturing, I think it is uranium. They're manufacturing it themselves. And in doing so, they've managed to encourage a huge amount of income into the country, which is being used to betterment of the people of Burkina Faso. So they are saying, well, one second, if this man is doing this and he's willing to continue to do this, why are we going to go against him for a measly, for example, $11 million? And furthermore, even if it does happen to him, there are 10 more Captain Ibrahim Traoré waiting to take his space.
And that's what you need. You do need a legacy. But some people are calling him a dictator.
I was going to say, literally wanted to say, how long before like the Western world turns and says, basically he's a new
They're saying it now.
They're saying it now.
Yeah.
Do you know what, to be able to do it, you need to prove a war crime to be able to invade a country. And to prove a war crime, you need stable ground, and they don't have.
Even the fact of obviously when you said about Putin and he's having a conversation with Putin, it's enough for them to turn and use that to kind of try and escalate. Oh well, he's on Russia's side, and obviously you know how we're supposed to view Russia. So it's like, you know what? It's like if he's on Russia's side, he's against, and that means he's on their side.
Please do not be fooled to think that Russia is the open and obvious enemy. As much as what we're seeing in the media,
yeah, I agree.
It's not even China. It's not necessarily the case, because where the strongholds, we're thinking the West is right. We need to really sit there and open our first, second, and third eye and really understand what's going on in the landscape of the world. And when you understand what's happening in the landscape of the world, you will then understand how each of these games fit in. Sorry to take this over, but the US today signed a 146 billion pound warfare
yes, weapons deal.
Yeah, weapons deal with Saudi Arabia. So you have to then think, I thought Saudi Arabia, like, if and you know what's crazy, and for those that are at home, do you know what's crazy? Watch Bond films. Bond films
Oh my
tell
days.
you the story of what's happening in the world. And I'm not saying watch James Bond. No.
No, watch it.
Just watch who the enemies are in each one of the James Bonds, and you will see
They
you've
tally
got-
up with the news as
They'll
at the
tally
time.
up with the news. So one might be a Chinese man. You'll then get an African guy.
Yep.
You'll get a Russian guy. They'll even throw in a British guy because, do you know what I mean? The IRA, rare. They'll do the most. And when you put them all together and you think, 1 second, what's happening in the news at that time? And then what's happening in James Bond at that time? And then you see the correlation between the two. This what says to me, Western media is very powerful.
It's
Just very quickly, because I don't want to, this will be another thing to go into. We sort of touched on it before. But what we also have to look at, social media is playing such a big part in keeping Captain Traoré relevant in the news and supported.
but not in the traditional sources.
Yes.
Can you see a Guardian article? Can you see a Times
No.
article?
It's social media.
Yeah, exactly,
Social media. And social media in 2025 is having such a big, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how social media is the new form of getting things out
Proper
there.
news.
Yes. He's very supported. Very supported.
It's funny you say that about the James Bond film. So I was getting my haircut on Monday or Tuesday, and I was telling
By Goldeneye.
my octopussy. But no, I was talking to I said to the barber, like the barber, barbers, innit? They know everything and nothing. So I was telling him,
Shout goes out to Tongo.
he knows everything. I was telling the barber about, so it's not conspiracy theory, the UK Navy have a laser weapon which can hit a target of a 1 penny from 100 miles away. It's a laser weapon on a boat right now. And he said to me, yeah, man, that was in Moonraker, James Bond.
Yeah, it was.
But when he said it, I'm like,
The correlation.
When I thought about
Yeah.
it, it was bloody in there. So that James Bond thing that you're talking about is 100% true. 100% true. But anyway, Ibrahim, he's doing a thing. I don't know if anyone saw, I posted it in our group ages ago. Millicent Bart Williams, who was talking about Sierra Leone, basically saying her African nation is a rich nation. Why do we want handouts from XYZ? Why do you keep hold of our minds and whatnot? But this man is doing the same thing. I'll post it again. This man is doing it in real life. She did a TED talk. It's almost like he's listened to what she said and he's like, nah, Africa, I'm changing that.
You know, sorry, just to, when you said Bart Williams, I'm thinking of Chris Bart Williams, and I'm sure.
Footballer.
No, but his heritage was from Sierra Leone.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
that's what I'm saying. When you said Bart Williams, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, there must be some form of a relation or something.
Maybe. But I'll put the video in the group again. I know we're hurtling towards the end of it. I'm just trying to think where to go.
Well, very quickly,
Go for it.
make sure those of you that are watching online, make sure you tune in for the 29th of May. 29th of May, we're going to have the special guest, Kenny Sting, will be in the building, and we'll be having a load of questions and talking about his book, his history, deja vu, whole load of stuff. Make sure you are following the Empty Podcast. Subscribe. Make sure you're watching the podcast that day.
Yeah.